Israel and Iran continue to exchange fire as the conflict between the two countries stretches into a fourth day. And authorities in Minnesota say they have arrested the suspect wanted for 2 shooting deaths over the weekend. Good morning, I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. The death toll has grown on both sides of the Israeli-Iranian conflict. They're exchanging fire for a fourth day. Iran's Ministry of Health says more than 200 people have been killed, including many women and children. Another 1,000 Iranians have been injured. In Israel, officials say more than 20 people have been killed. NPR's Hadil Al-Shalchi has more.
The Israeli military said that 4 areas in northern and central Israel were struck by Iranian overnight missiles. Videos posted online showed fire engulfing buildings in the northern city of Haifa. While President Trump said that the two sides needed to, quote, end this bloody conflict, he then told reporters that, quote, sometimes they have to fight it out. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave an interview to Fox News and doubled down on continuing the war.
The issue here is not de-escalation. The issue here is not ceasefire. The issue here is stopping those things that will threaten our survival, and we're committed to stopping them, and I think we can achieve them.
Iran has not signaled publicly, at least, that talks were imminent. Hadil Al-Shalchi, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
Authorities in Minnesota have arrested the suspect wanted in connection with the shooting deaths of a top state Democratic lawmaker and her husband, and the woundings of another Democratic lawmaker and his wife. Minnesota Public Radio's Matt Sepik explains how officials found suspect Vance Belter.
Police found a car belonging to Belter down the road from his home. Brooklyn Park Police Chief Mark Bruley says an officer thought that he may have seen Belter run into the woods, so authorities hurried to set up a perimeter. Bruley says officers called Belter out of the forest and into a field where he surrendered. Authorities say Belter was armed, but they did not specify what type of weapon he had.
Matt Sepik reporting. President Trump has arrived in the western Canadian province of Alberta for the G7 summit. It's being held near Calgary. As NPR's Danielle Kurtz-Laban reports, Trump has one-on-one meetings planned with multiple leaders, including some who are not from G7 nations.
Trump's one-on-ones begin today with a morning meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. White House officials also confirmed that he will meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. The White House has said Trump hopes to talk about topics including migration, drug smuggling, and trade at this week's summit. Trump has imposed tariffs on goods from all of his fellow G7 countries. Trump's America First worldview has put him at odds with foreign leaders at past G7s. In his first term, they clashed over climate change and trade. But his team also took issue with G7 agendas, thinking covering non-economic topics like culture and climate change constituted overreach. Danielle Kurtzleben, NPR News, Calgary.
President Trump has ordered officials in his administration to expand deportation campaigns in large democratically led cities. As NPR's Adrian Florido reports, writing online, Trump said they should do all they can to achieve his mass deportation goals.
ICE officers are herewith ordered, Trump wrote on Truth Social, to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. The president went on to accuse Democratic leaders in those and other cities of using immigrants without legal status to expand their voter base and to cheat in elections. There's never been evidence of this, but the president's post suggests that more than a week after ICE agents began aggressive raids in Los Angeles, setting off protests, other large cities could soon expect the same. Trump wrote, quote, "I have directed my entire administration to put every resource possible behind this effort." Adrian Florido, NPR News, Los Angeles.
The Agriculture Department estimates about half the workers in that industry do not have legal status in the U.S. NPR's Jimena Bustillo reports President Trump's efforts to increase deportations is leaving that industry feeling uneasy.
Last week, federal immigration officials carried out several arrests at a meatpacking plant in Nebraska and at farms in California. The move was seen by farm worker advocates as the biggest targeted sweep on the agriculture sector so far this year. For months, administration officials have sent mixed messages over how protected farm and food system workers are from the goal of deporting everyone without legal status. Trump has said that he wants to provide some solutions to farmers, but other cabinet officials are united on another message, that anyone without legal status has to leave. Still, labor advocates say even if arrests don't happen at the work sites, arrests in the communities where workers live could still disrupt the supply chain. Jimena Bustillo, NPR News, Washington.
The New York Times is also reporting the Department of Homeland Security will reportedly pause efforts to deport certain migrants. That includes migrants in agriculture and the hotel and restaurant industries. Indian authorities have handed over the remains of 47 victims from last week's Air India crash. The disaster killed 241 people on the flight and dozens on the ground. The Boeing Dreamliner crashed almost immediately after takeoff. There was one survivor from the plane. Over the weekend, searchers found the cockpit voice recorder used by the pilots. Catastrophic flooding in 2 states has left several people dead. 5 people have been killed in West Virginia, and several people are still missing. In San Antonio, Texas, 13 people died in a storm last week. In both states, many inches of rain fell in only a few hours. In Major League Baseball, Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Dodgers is scheduled to pitch tonight for the first time in nearly 2 years. As Steve Futterman reports, Ohtani has been recovering from injury.
It is one of the most anticipated returns in many years. The last time Shohei Ohtani pitched was in September 2023, when he was still with the LA Angels. Ohtani suffered an elbow injury and underwent surgery. Last year, after leaving the Angels and joining the Dodgers, Ohtani still played, but only as a designated hitter. LA manager Dave Roberts on Sunday said this first pitching appearance will be very short.
I don't know if it's going to be 1 or 2 innings, but my guess is probably an inning to start.
Ohtani will be the Dodgers starter. During his time pitching with the Angels, Ohtani won 38 games. For NPR News, I'm Steve Futterman in Los Angeles.
The Dodgers will host the San Diego Padres. This is NPR.